Hey guys, this is National Master Kevin Yang back at it with another video. So remember when we left off in this position against NiceChessD in what's the Khan variation of the Sicilian defense? So I told you that I played bishop e3. I said I could not withstand the pressure of this bishop because remember I played this opening terribly. I allowed bishop c5 to happen. I believe the right move here is knight db5, and after bishop c5, I don't know, there's queen d2 maybe. Apparently, oh, there's also knight a4, because after bishop takes f2, king e2, and suddenly the queen has nowhere to go. So after queen a5, bishop d2, bishop b4. Oh, interesting. And after this knight a c3, and if knight takes e4, what happens? Well, the move queen to c2, because after knight takes c3, whew, knight c7 check, and after king d8, b takes c3, threatens the queen, threatens the rook, and it's going to be lights out. So queen takes b4, knight c3, knight takes e4 is not the move, but just castle. And here, a3, if queen takes b2, rook b1 traps the queen, so queen c5 has to be played, b4, queen e7, and after something like queen d6, well, white is very, very comfortable. So that's obviously an opening insight that I could learn, that knight to b5 is the right move, but I always somehow get it wrong, so I played knight c2. And after bishop c5, I was sort of, I was debating if queen d2, knight g4, and all of a sudden, knight d1, and it doesn't look great, right? Castles, f5, it's not going to be a bright, shining stone. So after bishop c5, I also considered the move knight to e3, but what happens if just chops it off, right? Bishop takes e3, queen takes b2, there's rook c1, but, at this point, queen could go back, queen could go back. I don't know. I just had an instinct in my head that that was not the right kind of approach. So I went queen e2, saying, if knight g4, I can guard that. If knight d4, I'm going to take that. So then d6 happened. I said rook b1, I'm going to protect this guy. I'm going to bring my bishop to e3 real quick. I'm going to maybe threaten a3 and b4. So after a5, bishop e3 came. And here I also thought about another idea. I also thought about the idea that since my bishop pins the bishop to the queen, right, or it's sort of like they're on the same diagonal, so obviously this guy can't move. So let's say if one day I brought my knight to d6, right, well then obviously that would be the dream. So that was another idea I was hoping for, with knight to b5 and knight takes d6. But bishop takes e3 happened, and I said that idea is thrown out of the window. Then I played knight takes e3, just saying I'm not going to queen trade just yet. I kind of feel like I have an edge if I sort of just look toward the weak pawns and try to exploit them. So knight d4, very good move. Just simply saying I'm going to control this square, and if queen d2, maybe you play e5, but that would sort of surrender the d5 square. So it's sort of mixed. I played queen d3, just saying, bring my bishop out, I'm going to castle. a4, I was not afraid, just bishop e2, and now knight d7. Knight d7, pretty good move, I like it. I like it knowing to play knight to e5 and saying I'm going to have to go back. So obviously in this position, I can go back, right? And I can say I might take on a4 and then retreat my way back to c3. I could do that. I could also just castle, right? So instead I played f4. I said, you might play knight e5, so I might as well just make a prophylactic move, or what I like to reiterate in my games, just a move that prevents your opponent from executing something, a move that prevents your opponent from just executing their specific plan, right? Their plan was get their knight onto an active square and use these knights to really confuse white's position. So here, our NiceChessD plays the move knight c5, and on first sight, it looked brilliant, right? It looked brilliant. The queen sort of says, I'm going to disguise myself in front of this knight, and this is going to be a very great discovery. But after queen takes d4, we realize that there is no discovery. There is no check, because then queen takes. There's no check here, because queen takes. So it was a simple mistake. That's all. Castles. And here I played knight b5. I said, I'm going to take here. I'm going to go for that weak pawn. Maybe it was not the cleanest move, but I went for it. So here, NiceChessD went for e5, went for activity. That's the right thing to do, right? You see that my king is sort of still vulnerable in the center. So what you need to do is you need to say, okay, if queen takes d6, black's going to play queen to a5 and just continue the pressure. Maybe bring the bishop out one day, bring the rook out, and try to pressure the center before white castles. And so I play queen takes d6, and here NiceChessD just forgot about the queen. It was just as simple as that. I mean, I would have to say the first mistake for me was just allowing this bishop c5 and allowing it to work. I mean, I believe knight db5 is the best move, or knight takes c6. I could have also went knight takes c6, and after d takes c6, maybe black has e5 and bishop e6 ideas, but here white has a very fair game, right? So I could have just went knight takes knight, but I didn't. I spent with a very time-consuming approach, but later on, when trading this bishop on c5, it just made my job so much easier, right? And I also imagined myself saying maybe bishop d1 and knight takes a4, but instead I played f4, and our friend 23 Dragons, nope, never mind, NiceChessD. Sometimes I need to just clear my mind of all these names I'm trying to remember, but yes, our friend NiceChessD just, he just blundered two pieces, and that happens sometimes because we're all human. And for me, I still blunder a lot. It's all about, the people at higher levels just do it less. And why they do it less? Well, it all comes down to a few things. It comes down to practice, comes down to recognition and familiarity, which also correlates with practice, and just that experience plays a major role, right? You've seen the board multiple times, and you're going to get better at it each time. So the more games you play could be a good thing, but also could be a bad thing. And the more learning that you do about chess, whether it's, positional play or whether it's you do tactics, it's only going to help you. Whatever you do, have fun at it, keep going at it, and I'll see you next time.